If you have celebrated your 60th birthday in the United Kingdom and you are still paying every single monthly household bill at full face value, you are quietly giving away thousands of pounds that the statutory framework of this country explicitly states belongs in your pocket. I'm going to ask you to halt whatever administrative task you are doing right now and focus completely on what I am about to lay out over the next phase of this presentation, because a substantial portion of the cash currently draining from your current account via automated direct debits was never meant to be collected from you in the first place. For the vast majority of retired individuals viewing this broadcast, the cumulative total of these overpayments amounts to an absolute fortune. Money handed over to utility conglomerates, municipal authorities, and corporate providers year after year simply because you did not submit a single specific administrative application. The central problem is that the organizations that are legally obligated to grant these reductions are the exact entities that directly benefit from your complete lack of awareness. I have spent an extensive amount of time cross-referencing the official regulatory guidelines, the statutory exemptions, and the hidden discount structures buried deep within the operational codebooks of the Treasury, the Department for Work and Pensions, and local governmental bodies. What I have uncovered is a systemic reality where honest, law-abiding, and hard-working citizens across England, Scotland, and Wales are overpaying for basic survival necessities that could be altered in a matter of minutes. By the time we reach the final segment of this comprehensive breakdown, you will possess a definitive, step-by-step understanding of the 15 specific household costs you can legally diminish or entirely eliminate, including the exact administrative mechanisms required to enact these rights this very week. Now, before I analyze a single item on this comprehensive list, we must urgently address the single biggest psychological barrier that prevents the vast majority of eligible individuals from ever receiving a single pound of relief. Many of you are already attempting to convince yourselves that this analysis does not apply to your personal household. Some of you own your property outright, free of any mortgage encumbrance, and you mistakenly conclude that paying full operational costs is merely an unalterable reality of property ownership, meaning your current outgoings must be correct. A significant number of you believe that these types of structural provisions are reserved exclusively for individuals surviving on the absolute margins of poverty, and because you have managed to build a modest savings cushion or possess a small private annuity, you instinctively tune out. Others assume the exact opposite alternative, that these interventions are only for individuals who are actively receiving comprehensive state welfare, and you believe your lifestyle is far too comfortable to cross the regulatory threshold. Every single one of those foundational assumptions is completely inaccurate, and every single one of them is actively costing the person who holds that belief real, unrecoverable wealth. It makes absolutely no difference whether you reside in a compact municipal terrace or a highly valuable detached family home that has substantially appreciated in market valuation over the last 3 decades. It matters not whether your sole financial support is the standard state pension, or whether you have a substantial workplace pension layout sitting directly on top of it. There is an explicit regulatory mechanism within this master checklist that has your exact household situation written upon it. Therefore, I strongly urge you not to close this presentation. The precise second you decide this information is irrelevant to your life is the exact moment the corporate entities and state structures permanently retain your hard-earned capital. Before we break down the definitive checklist, ensure you have subscribed to this channel and enabled the notification bell. The regulatory guidelines governing retirement finance, utility obligations, and statutory assistance shift quietly and with extreme frequency. When these changes occur, no state official is going to contact you to break down the real-world implications for your weekly budget. I analyze these complex policy frameworks the absolute second they are formalized and translate them into direct plain English, so you always maintain complete control over your financial life. Activate the subscribe button now and let us analyze the master checklist immediately. Let us begin with the core operational concept that links every single element of this presentation together, because once you absorb this single sentence, the entire framework falls into perfect alignment. Being legally entitled to a financial exemption and actually seeing that exemption applied to your bank statement are two completely separate operational realities. The state does not audit its internal databases looking for households it can voluntarily grant a discount to. No administrator at the local council or the energy firm will mail you a pre-filled application form simply because you reached a specific age milestone. The entire British administrative apparatus is engineered in the exact opposite direction. It pays out or reduces costs exclusively when an individual submits an explicit, law-backed demand. And if you remain silent, the system remains completely quiet. There is a very direct commercial reason for this reality. Every single discount, rebate, or total exemption granted to a consumer represents a direct reduction in the revenue streams of these powerful organizations. This is not an elaborate hidden conspiracy. It is simply how institutional incentives operate, and it explains precisely why billions of pounds in statutory relief sit completely untouched year after year. Let us systematically dissect the 15 bills you need to address immediately. 1. The Standard Municipal Property Levy, Council Tax. The first structural bill on our master list is the Standard Municipal Property Levy, widely known as Council Tax. The absolute average cost of this single obligation in England now sits comfortably above £2,000 per annum, with thousands of households paying significantly more. If you are a retired individual who remains in your family property for another 20 years, you are looking at an outbound cash flow of £40,000 to £50,000 on a bill that, for an enormous percentage of you, should be a minor fraction of that figure. The standard framework allows for 3 massive structural reductions that most people fail to claim correctly. If you are the sole adult individual residing under your roof, the statutory framework dictates an immediate, non-negotiable 25% reduction in your total annual liability. This is not a discretionary grant. It is a legal right that saves the average individual roughly £500 every single year. Yet thousands of individuals who have suffered the loss of a spouse or whose adult children have permanently departed the property continue to pay the full multi-person rate for decades because they assume the local authority updates its system automatically. It does not. You must actively demand it. 2. The Municipal Mental Infirmity Disregard. The second bill on our list is the exact same municipal tax, but viewed through the lens of a profound statutory exclusion known as the mental infirmity disregard. This is the single most valuable and life-changing financial reduction available within the entire local government framework, and it remains the most tragic example of an underclaimed right in the United Kingdom. Under explicit statutory law, if a resident within a property has received a formal medical diagnosis of a cognitive condition that causes permanent impairment, such as Alzheimer's, advanced dementia, the lasting neurological impacts of a major stroke, or advanced Parkinson's disease, that specific individual is completely disregarded for the purposes of calculating property tax. If that individual resides entirely alone, the total annual council tax bill for that property is reduced to absolute zero. If they reside with one other adult, such as a spouse who acts as their primary carer, the entire household bill is immediately cut by 25%. Furthermore, this specific provision can be legally backdated to the exact date of the formal medical diagnosis, frequently resulting in immediate lump sum refunds worth thousands of pounds. The medical professional is legally prohibited from charging a fee to sign the verification paperwork, yet because the local councils and health authorities never volunteer this information, thousands of families continue to drain their retirement savings to pay a tax bill that the law states should not exist. 3. Low-income municipal tax eradication. The third bill relates to the total eradication of the council tax bill for those surviving on a modest or limited retirement income through the council tax reduction scheme. If you are of state pension age and your total weekly income falls below specific regulatory limits, or if you are currently receiving the guarantee element of the state pension credit system, you are legally entitled to have your property tax liability reduced by up to 100%. This means your monthly bill drops to absolute zero. The critical operational failure that catches out millions of pensioners is the complete separation of state administrative systems. The Department for Work and Pensions does not communicate your financial data to your local municipal borough. You can successfully secure your pension credit award, mistakenly believe that every single administrative loose end has been completely resolved, and continue to pay full price to your local council because you failed to submit the separate municipal application. If your weekly income in retirement is constrained, this is the absolute priority you must pursue this week. 4. The adapted property band reduction. The fourth item on our master list is the specialized structural adjustment known as the disabled band reduction. This applies to individuals who are managing a permanent physical disability within their home and have had to adapt the physical layout of the property to accommodate their health needs. If you have had to convert a downstairs dining area into a ground floor bedroom because you can no longer safely navigate the staircase, or if you have installed a specialized wet room or created wide internal doorways to allow for wheelchair access, the law states your property must be taxed as if it sat in the valuation band immediately below its actual designation. If your home is registered in Band D, you must be billed at the lower Band C rate. If it sits in Band C, you must be billed at Band B. This adjustment provides an immediate, ongoing saving of £200 to £300 every single year. The local authority will never dispatch an inspector to your property to offer this reduction out of goodwill. You must explicitly point to the physical adaptations you have made and demand the downward band recalibration. 5. The standard broadcasting licensing fee. The fifth bill on our list is the standard annual television broadcasting licensing fee, a cost that rises consistently and represents an irritating drain on a fixed retirement budget. For decades, the rule was simple. Anyone over 75 paid nothing. Then the administrative framework changed, creating massive confusion. Today, if you are age 75 or older and you or your partner living at the same address receive the guarantee element of pension credit, you are completely exempt from paying this fee. Your liability drops to absolute zero. Yet millions of older citizens who are fully entitled to this benefit continue to pay the annual fee because they believe the exemption was abolished for everyone. The licensing authority will continue to issue automated payment demands and threatening renewal letters to your address until you submit your national insurance number and your DWP documentation to prove your statutory right to zero cost. 6. The Household Standing Water and Sewerage Tariff. The sixth bill on our master checklist is the ongoing Household Water and Sewerage Tariff. Water utilities operate as regional monopolies, and their annual price hikes are completely locked in. However, every single water provider in England and Wales operates a hidden framework known as a Social Tariff or the WaterSure scheme. If you are of retirement age, possess a water meter, and are managing a medical condition that requires the use of higher than average amounts of water, or if your income is restricted and you receive state pension top-ups, your annual water bill can be capped or slashed by up to 50%. In many regions, this cuts the annual bill down by hundreds of pounds. The utility firm will never analyze your usage patterns or look at your age to grant this discount automatically. They will continue to bill you at the standard commercial rate until you download their specific social tariff application framework and submit independent proof of your circumstances. 7. Statutory prescription access costs. The seventh bill on our checklist is the ongoing cost of NHS medical prescriptions. In England, the standard cost per individual item on a prescription form is highly expensive, and for someone managing multiple long-term health issues, this can easily translate into an annual bill of hundreds of pounds. The absolute rule in the United Kingdom is that the exact moment you reach your 60th birthday, your legal liability to pay for NHS prescriptions is entirely erased. It drops to absolute zero permanently. While this is applied at the pharmacy counter by ticking the age exemption box, millions of individuals who turn 60 are unaware that they can also claim complete exemption for specialized dental treatments, optical checkups, and travel costs for hospital appointments if they receive specific low-income state pension supplements. If you are paying for your medication or dental maintenance after the age of 60, you are actively throwing away your statutory rights. 8. Seasonal environmental heating surcharges. The eighth bill on our list involves seasonal household heating surcharges. With the severe tightening of the winter fuel payment regulations, millions of pensioners have been abruptly stripped of their standard annual winter warmth grant. However, the underlying statutory framework known as the Cold Weather Payment and the Warm Home Discount Scheme still exists. Under the Warm Home Discount framework, if you meet the specific criteria or receive the core elements of the state pension supplement, you are entitled to a direct one-off deduction of £150 applied directly to your electricity or gas account between October and March. This reduces your winter energy bill significantly. The energy conglomerate will not apply this credit out of corporate kindness. The DWP must match your records, and if an administrative error occurs, you must actively challenge your supplier to ensure the credit is visible on your winter statement. 9. Commercial telecommunications and broadband access. The ninth bill on our master list is your monthly commercial telecommunications, home phone, and broadband access bill. Giant telecom firms consistently increase their prices above inflation every single spring, catching millions of older citizens in expensive long-term contracts. Yet, under regulatory pressure from Ofcom, every major provider including BT, Sky, Virgin Media, and TalkTalk is legally required to offer a hidden tier of service known as a social tariff. These packages provide high-speed internet access and an unlimited home phone connection for a flat, suppressed rate of roughly £12 to £15 per month. Switching to these hidden tiers immediately cuts the average pensioner's communication bill by £30 to £40 every single month, representing an annual saving of nearly £500. The broadband providers deliberately bury these options at the absolute bottom of their digital portals because they want you to stay on their high-margin commercial packages. You must call their customer service department, utter the specific words "social tariff," and verify your retirement criteria to force the price drop. 10. The Royal Mail Redirection and Document Delivery Tariff. The 10th bill involves the Royal Mail Postal Redirection and Documentation Delivery Tariff. When a retired individual decides to downsize their property to release equity or move closer to family members, the administrative cost of redirecting their household correspondence to the new address for a 12-month period is highly expensive. What the Postal Service never advertises is that they operate a statutory concessionary pricing framework for anyone receiving low-income retirement support. If you qualify, the cost of this service is slashed by up to 60% or removed entirely, ensuring your vital medical appointments and state pension documentation reach your new home without a massive financial penalty. You must apply using the physical verification pathway at a main post office branch to bypass the automated, full-price digital payment system. 11. Structural home insurance environmental surcharges. The 11th bill is the annual structural home and contents insurance premium. Insurance firms utilize complex automated algorithms that consistently penalize older properties and long-term policyholders with massive premium increases upon renewal. However, retired individuals possess an enormous statistical advantage. They are home during daylight hours, their properties are significantly less likely to be left unsecured for long periods, and they maintain their assets with extreme care. Many specialist insurance syndicates offer heavily suppressed rates for retired individuals, but they will never apply these discounts to an automated renewal notice. If you simply allow your existing direct debit to roll over year after year, you are paying a massive commercial surcharge. You must actively break the renewal cycle, demand a recalculation based on your retirement status, or utilize independent brokerage pathways to force the cost down. 12. The National Transit and Local Transport Levy. The 12th bill on our master checklist is the cost of national transit and local everyday transport. If you are still paying full cash fares for urban bus transit, regional coach travel, or rail networks, you are ignoring a massive statutory framework designed to grant you zero-cost travel. In England, the moment you reach your state pension age, you are legally entitled to an older person's bus pass, which brings the cost of every single local bus journey down to absolute zero. If you reside within London, the 60-plus Oyster card grants this privilege even earlier. For national rail networks, the Senior Railcard slashes a clean 1/3 off every single mainline ticket across the country. Paying full price for public transit after reaching these age milestones is an entirely unnecessary waste of regular household income. 13. Urgent Emergency Heating System Replacement Fees. The 13th bill on our list involves urgent emergency heating system replacement and maintenance fees. When a domestic gas boiler permanently fails during the winter months, the commercial cost of purchasing and installing a modern replacement unit is thousands of pounds, a sudden financial shock that can completely wipe out a pensioner's emergency reserves. Under the government's ongoing Energy Company Obligation Framework, known as the ECO4 scheme, energy companies are legally mandated to fund the complete installation of brand new, highly efficient heating systems, solar arrays, and comprehensive home insulation for qualifying low-income and vulnerable households entirely for free. The entire multi-thousand-pound invoice is reduced to absolute zero. To access this framework, you must completely bypass standard commercial installation firms and submit a direct diagnostic application through an approved municipal partner or directly through the energy company's Regulatory Compliance Division. 14. Domestic Energy Standing Charges. The 14th bill is the highly controversial Domestic Energy Standing Charge, the flat daily fee you are forced to pay simply for being connected to the national gas and electricity grid, even if you turn off every appliance in your home. While you cannot completely remove the standing charge from a standard commercial tariff, A significant number of independent, nonprofit energy collectives and specialized green suppliers offer unique tariffs tailored for older citizens where the daily standing charge is entirely absorbed or heavily discounted during the summer months. Alternatively, if you have been placed on an automated prepayment meter against your wishes due to an administrative dispute, the utility company is legally barred from charging a higher standing charge than a standard credit customer pays. You must aggressively monitor your monthly statement and force your supplier to match the lowest regulatory baseline available. 15. Specialized independent financial and legal advice tariffs. The 15th and final bill on our comprehensive checklist is the commercial fee charged for specialized independent financial guidance, estate planning, and basic legal document preparation. Commercial solicitors and asset management firms charge massive hourly fees to draft basic wills, construct lasting powers of attorney, or audit a retirement portfolio. Paying these high commercial rates is entirely unnecessary. Every single year, during initiatives like Will Aid, hundreds of fully qualified registered solicitors write basic wills for older citizens entirely for free, asking only for a modest voluntary donation to charity. Furthermore, statutory organizations such as Citizens Advice, Age UK, and Tax Help for Older People provide comprehensive, expert face-to-face consultations regarding tax code errors, benefit checks, and housing disputes at absolute zero cost. Paying a commercial middleman to navigate these administrative systems is a complete waste of your resources. Now that we have systematically analyzed the 15 specific bills you can legally reduce or entirely eradicate in 2026, let us explore the exact operational strategy required to stack these interventions together, because this is where the true financial power of this checklist manifests. These structural provisions are not mutually exclusive. They are designed to sit directly on top of one another. Consider a retired individual residing alone who begins to manage a chronic, long-term health condition. They can immediately combine the 25% single-person council tax discount with the comprehensive severe mental impairment disregard, driving their local property tax bill to absolute zero permanently. Simultaneously, they can invoke the telecommunications social tariff, execute a water utility social cap, and secure their zero-cost NHS medication pathways. When you execute these applications in a synchronized manner, you are no longer talking about saving small amounts of pocket change. You are looking at an immediate, permanent expansion of your monthly disposable retirement income by hundreds of pounds. The critical lesson I want you to permanently engrave into your memory from this extensive analysis is plain and direct. Never make the passive assumption that because you have successfully claimed one specific discount or secured one single reduction, your household administrative work is complete. The British regulatory framework is an incredibly fragmented patchwork of distinct institutional rules. The individuals who successfully navigate this system and protect their hard-earned capital are simply the ones who systematically investigate every single component of the checklist, rather than filling out one single document and assuming the job is finished. There is a much deeper, calmer truth running directly beneath this entire framework that I do not want you to misinterpret under any circumstances. None of what I have just laid out in this presentation represents a shady legal loophole, and none of it involves bending or manipulating the statutory rules of the United Kingdom. These specific discounts, social tariffs, and total structural exemptions were written deliberately into the law by Parliament precisely to ensure that a retired citizen living alone, managing a health condition on a fixed income, or surviving on a modest pension does not pay the exact same operational cost as a wealthy, multi-earner household with significant cash inflows. The true unfairness does not sit in you stepping forward to claim these rights. The true unfairness resides in a silent, automated system that quietly permits you to overpay thousands of pounds year after year, without ever once deploying a clear administrative pointer toward the exact legal help that was built for your protection in the first place. Therefore, if you take one single directive from our time together today, let it be this direct action. Locate your most recent household bills this week. Systematically audit which of these 15 unique situations matches the reality of your current lifestyle, and make the direct phone calls required to turn a bill you have simply accepted into a cost you have aggressively questioned. If you experience any administrative confusion or feel completely overwhelmed by the paperwork at any point in the process, Immediately seek out the free, expert verification services provided by Age UK or Citizens Advice. Execute those basic steps, and you will immediately transform this from wealth you have been quietly losing into capital you have successfully reclaimed. If this detailed analysis has delivered genuine value to your life, please share this broadcast immediately with one other individual you know who is over the age of 60 and navigating household bills in the UK. They have almost certainly never been informed of these statutory rights by any official source, and this information could alter their financial security completely. Ensure you have activated the subscribe button to stay close to this channel, and I will continue to deliver exactly this type of direct plain English policy breakdown the absolute instant it matters to your wealth. I am John Hartley, and I will see you in our next presentation.